Hi guys, I'm Ahana and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to create a product roadmap for your startup. If that sounds good to you, then keep on watching. At my company, Clear, we've been really focused on product over the past few months, and I've learned a lot through this process. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing our 13-step process of developing a roadmap and getting to product market fit. And with that, let's dive right in. The first step is to conduct problem interviews with your users. There is certainly an art to conducting a problem interview, and I could probably make a whole video just on that topic alone. If that's something you'd like, be sure to comment down below. The purpose of a problem interview is to scope out the problem space. The exact questions you ask will vary based on the stage of your company and hence the type of problems that you're looking into. At the very beginning, it will be more about testing basic assumptions, and I've made an entire video on how to do that, so go check it out if you haven't already. If you already have a product and are looking to hit your next set of metrics and KPIs, which was the position that we were in, you'll want to interview your existing users to understand what the challenges really are. If you're aiming for a certain metric that you're not achieving, try to figure out why. And the way to do that is through talking to your users. The second step is to collate these insights from your problem interviews with your users and identify the 3 key challenges that you have. When coming up with those 3 challenges that you want to focus on, you're going to really want to think about which users you are building for. You can't please everyone all the time, so within your user interviews, you'll need to prioritize certain people that will match a certain type of persona. And you also can't expect your users to tell you everything. You should also be somewhat guided by data and analytics tracking, if you have any. For us, the way that we use our tracking is to identify which users to talk to in the first place. In our example, we were trying to investigate churn and understanding how we can build a stickier app. So when it came to talking to users, we segmented our users by churned users, super users, and completely new users. Then when it came to identifying what the problems were, we prioritized the problems shared by the churned users as they were the ones that we were really looking to bring back onto the platform. The third step is to brainstorm solutions to these problems. Now, there'll likely be a wide range of ways in which you can solve a problem. We kept this very much product focused. So specifically, what features can we build in our app that would solve some of these problems? To walk you through an example with my own company, we found that a lot of our users didn't feel like there was a strong enough sense of community, despite there being thousands of people in our community. So potential solutions to this problem included showing users more relevant content that resonated with them from other similar members of the community, make it easier to find other users with similar skin types or shared experiences about products, recommend which users to follow or interact with based on this affinity, show users the read count on their posts to help them feel like their content's really being seen, notifications if somebody with skin like them uses a product that they've tried before, be able to comment on different people's routines. On product information pages, show a list of users that also use that product. Encourage users to introduce themselves upon sign up. Incentivize users to fill out their profiles. These are some of the examples from our own brainstorm. Once we brainstormed potential solutions to this problem, the fourth step was to define a success metric for each of these challenges. This should be something objective that you can point to, and sometimes a relative KPI is better than an absolute number. So coming back to our example, if people aren't feeling enough of a sense of community, the way that we can track a better sense of community is if users are spending longer looking at posts on the feed or actually interacting with other people's posts. So the success metric that we defined was to 10x the average session time on a post or on the feed. Once we'd done this exercise for all 3 of the core challenges, the 5th step was to prioritize the problems. In order to prioritize the problems, you're going to need to consider the user feedback you've received and what you're trying to achieve. What are your goals as a company? For us, some of the problems we'd identified were also around, for example, availability of products in certain regions. And although this did come up a lot in our user feedback, our primary goal at this point is around retention. And yes, although a lack of availability of certain products may be somewhat contributing to that, the community feel is a much bigger contribution, and if we can get that right, that will move the needle. Whereas while rectifying the product availability challenge is great and will certainly improve the user experience, it may still not get us to what we want to achieve, which is retention and PMF. Once you've prioritized the problems, the sixth step is to make sure that you actually have tracking in place. There's no point defining success metrics and setting yourself these targets if you've got no way of actually knowing if you're achieving them. If you haven't yet set up any infrastructure to do metrics tracking, now is the time to do that. At Clear, we use segment and amplitude. Not sponsored, but I wish I was. Once you've set up your analytics tracking on a dashboard and can really look at those key KPIs, the eighth step is to prioritize solutions to the most important problem. This is a more involved process. The way we went about it is for each of the proposed solutions, we broke them down into manageable chunks, or the smallest Git issue task that we could break them down into. Once each of these solutions had been spec'd or broken down, that helped us identify a complexity score for this issue. We used a 1 to 5 rating, 1 being trivial, should take less than an hour to complete, 2 being easy, less than a day, 3 being slightly challenging, less than a week, hard being less than a month, and extremely challenging, less than 2 months. Then we also gave each solution an impact score. This was also rated on a 1 to 5 basis. Although this is more subjective, as you can't quite give it a technical breakdown like you can with the spec, it's still a good exercise, and based off the user feedback you've received, you can certainly make a start to this. You probably will have a reasonably good understanding of whether a feature will move the needle or not. So for our impact scores, number 1 was guaranteed to make us achieve the target KPI. Number 2 was likely to achieve the target KPI. 3 was it'll have some impact, but won't be enough to move us to the target KPI. 4 is minimal impact, and 5 is no impact towards target KPI. So then for each solution, we gave it an overall score. This was the impact score multiplied by the complexity score. So the lower the number, the higher we should prioritize that solution, meaning we start with high impact, low effort solutions and then work our way up. The eighth step is to take the impact score and the complexity score and prioritize the order of solutions to work on. In our case, we had a ninth step, which may not be relevant for you, but ours was to actually redo our onboarding process so that we could better segment our users to get better insights on how we can improve the app. This included having a better understanding of why users are signing up for Clear, what their general demographic information is, and how likely they are to use the routine tracking. So once we'd redesigned and implemented the new onboarding, the 10th step was to get cracking on the feature development. Given that we'd already done the prioritization, we start with the highest priority problem and then the highest priority solution for that problem. We then keep implementing solutions for the highest priority problem until the target KPI has been achieved. If that KPI is achieved before implementing all of the solutions, fantastic. We move on to solving the next problem. To be one step more granular about this, here's exactly how we work. We pick the solution we're going to pursue, we make sure it's fully spec'd, we make a very rough mock-up of the feature, we conduct some user interviews to test the feature and the usability of it, we UX design this feature, and then finally we implement it. And we tend to work in 2-week sprints. The 11th step is, as I mentioned before, once you've achieved the target KPI for a given problem, you move on to the next problem. The 12th step is to have a monthly brainstorming meeting, and in that brainstorm, we revisit what the priorities are and what the potential solutions are. Things change in a startup and priorities can sometimes change. So the purpose of this meeting is to make sure that you're working with all the same facts as you were when you started your product process. And the 13th and final step is to keep iterating until you achieve product market fit. Now, there's no one definition of exactly what product market fit looks like, but for many companies, it will be achieving certain metrics. And this way, with a very metrics forward approach, if you follow these steps, you'll most certainly get there. And that's where I'm gonna leave this video. If you enjoyed this video and wanna see more content just like this, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. All right, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.